Exposing the chaos in Paris. Why is the Eiffel Tower closed? The city of lights, usually bustling with tourists and locals alike, has come to a near standstill. The iconic Eiffel Tower, a symbol of France recognized around the world, stands eerily silent, its gates locked and its iron lattice empty of visitors. But what could possibly bring such a famous landmark to a halt? This isn't just a minor hiccup or a routine maintenance day. The closure of the Eiffel Tower is a sign of something much deeper, a wave of unrest that's sweeping through the heart of France. Imagine planning your dream trip to Paris, only to find the city's most famous monument off limits, the streets filled with tension, and the usual hum of Parisian life replaced by the roar of protest. Everybody is looking for answers, but the real story is bigger than just one landmark. The confusion on the faces of tourists and Parisians alike tells you everything you need to know. This isn't just about sightseeing. It's about a city and a country in the grip of something much larger. The uncertainty is everywhere. Travelers clutching guidebooks, locals checking their phones for updates, and families peering through the locked gates, all wondering when or if things will return to normal. The sense of disruption is palpable, and it's affecting every corner of daily life. Let's break it down. Nationwide strikes have turned Paris into protest central. The streets are filled with the sounds of chanting, the air thick with the energy of thousands demanding to be heard. It's not just a few people, it's a movement that's swept across the entire nation. From the early hours of the morning, crowds gather, waving banners and singing protest songs that echo through the boulevards. The city's famous avenues, usually filled with honking cars and cafe chatter, are now stages for passionate demonstrations. The sheer scale of the protests is staggering, with people from all walks of life coming together in a show of unity and defiance. Workers, unions, and even students are out in force, waving banners and saying "Non" to government budget cuts. The Eiffel Tower closed. Trains, some delayed. The city's heartbeat is disrupted, with public transport running on skeleton schedules and major attractions shuttered. The ripple effects are everywhere. Commuters stranded at train stations, families forced to change their plans, and businesses struggling to stay open. Even the city's famous metro system is running at a fraction of its usual capacity, leaving many to walk or cycle through the crowded streets. The sense of frustration is growing, but so is the determination to make their voices heard. Schools, teachers on strike, and students blocking entrances. Education is at a standstill, with classrooms empty and schoolyards filled with protest signs. The next generation is making their voices heard, standing shoulder to shoulder with workers from every sector. It's not just about missing a day of classes, it's about fighting for a future they believe in. Parents are scrambling to find childcare, while teachers and students alike are using this moment to demand change. The message is clear. No one is immune from the impact of these strikes, and everyone has a stake in what happens next. Even tourists hoping for that perfect selfie are left snapping pics outside the gates. Disappointment is written on their faces, but many are also fascinated by the spectacle of French protest culture in action. For some, it's a once-in-a-lifetime glimpse into the passion that defines Paris. Instead of climbing the tower, visitors find themselves documenting the protests, sharing their experiences on social media, and learning firsthand about the power of collective action. It's a different kind of Parisian adventure, one that's both frustrating and unforgettable. So why all the drama? What's driving thousands into the streets, shutting down monuments and halting daily life? The answer lies in a series of government reforms that have touched a nerve across the country. These aren't just minor policy tweaks. They're changes that affect the very fabric of French society, from retirement age to public spending. The stakes are high, and the emotions even higher. The government's trying to tighten its belt, cutting pensions, raising taxes, and asking people to work longer before retiring. These reforms are meant to address budget deficits, but for many, they feel like a direct attack on their way of life and hard-earned rights. The pension system in particular is a point of pride for many French citizens, seen as a symbol of social solidarity. Changing it is not just an economic decision, it's a cultural flashpoint. The government argues that these changes are necessary to keep the country financially stable, but opponents see them as unfair and out of touch with the realities of everyday life. That's not sitting well with a lot of folks. The anger is palpable, with people from all walks of life, young and old, workers and retirees, joining together in solidarity. The sense of unity is strong, but so is the frustration. For many, this is about more than just money. It's about dignity, respect, and the promise of a better future. The protests have become a rallying cry for those who feel left behind or ignored by the powers that be. The mood on the streets is a mix of hope and defiance, with chants and songs echoing late into the night. In true French style, they're taking to the streets and making headlines. Again. The world is watching as Parisians remind everyone that protest is practically a national pastime here, woven into the fabric of French democracy. From the French Revolution to the present day, the people of France have never been afraid to stand up for what they believe in. The media is out in full force, capturing every moment and broadcasting it to audiences around the globe. The message is clear. The spirit of resistance is alive and well in Paris. Think it's just Paris? Nope. The movement has spread far beyond the capital, igniting passions in cities and towns across France. From the industrial north to the sun-soaked south, people are taking to the streets in solidarity. The strikes have united communities that might otherwise have little in common, creating a nationwide wave of activism that's impossible to ignore. There's action in Lyon, Marseille, and more, with rallies and protests all over. From the north to the south, people are standing up for what they believe in, making their voices impossible to ignore. Each city brings its own flavor to the movement. Lyon's historic squares, Marseille's bustling port, and countless small towns, all adding their voices to the chorus. The sense of national unity is powerful, and the determination to be heard is stronger than ever. Inside homes and apartments, families gather around televisions and phones, watching live coverage and debating the issues at hand. Conversations spill out onto balconies and into neighborhood cafes, as everyone tries to make sense of the upheaval. For many, these strikes are a reminder of the power of collective action and the importance of standing up for what matters most. Still, the city keeps its cool, cafes are buzzing, street performers are out, and life goes on, just with a little extra noise. Parisians are famous for their resilience, and even as the protests rage, they find ways to enjoy the simple pleasures of daily life. The aroma of fresh coffee mingles with the distant sound of chanting, and laughter can still be heard above the din. It's a testament to the city's enduring spirit, a refusal to let even the most dramatic events dampen its joie de vivre. Would you brave Paris during a strike? For some, it's a chance to witness history in the making. For others, it's a challenge to navigate a city in flux. Either way, it's an experience you won't soon forget. The city's energy is electric, and every street corner offers a new story. Whether you're dodging protest marches or sipping espresso as the world changes around you, Paris during a strike is unforgettable. A living, breathing lesson in democracy and resilience. Drop your answer in the comments. Have you ever been caught in a strike while traveling? How did you handle it? We want to hear your stories and tips. Maybe you found a hidden gem while waiting for the metro, or maybe you joined a march and made new friends. Share your experiences. Your advice could help fellow travelers make the most of their own Parisian adventures, even in the midst of chaos. And remember, even when the Eiffel Tower's closed, Paris never stops being Paris. The city's spirit is unbreakable, its charm undiminished, and its people as passionate as ever. The lights still twinkle on the Seine, The aroma of fresh bread still drifts from the boulangeries, and the city's creative energy never fades. Strikes may disrupt the routine, but they can't dim the magic that makes Paris unique. Like and subscribe for more news, with a twist. Stay tuned for more stories that go beyond the headlines and bring you closer to the heart of the action. Whether it's the drama of a city in protest or the quiet moments that define daily life, we're here to keep you informed, inspired, and always a little bit closer to the world's most fascinating places.